What's up everybody? Karl Schuckert here. And in today's video, I'm actually going to be on the streets. And in this one, I'm actually going to be talking about Tesla and the pros, maybe some of the cons to owning a Tesla. So check it out. Okay, so here's my Tesla. This is a 2015. And you can see when I was walking up here, the door handles kind of automatically pop out as I'm walking up to it. And I'm at a charging station here in Rocklin, California. And so yeah, I just want to give you kind of a tour of the car itself if you ever thought about owning one, or even if you own one. But I would say this video is going to be more for people who are thinking about owning one. And so yeah, I'm just going to give you kind of a tour. And as I give you a tour, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some of the things I like and some of the things I don't like. So then I'll also give you like a little wrap up. So the steering wheel is pretty cool. It has literally everything at your fingertips between these two little dial pads right here. And I can fast forward the music. I can go in reverse. I can turn up the music, and you can see it goes up right inside of there, which is really neat and convenient. And on this side here, see where it says phone. If it's connected, I can actually check my messages and phone calls and stuff like that. Now, another neat thing is I can click on this button right there, and I can give it voice commands. So I can ask for it to search something, and it's basically going to search on this screen right here. And so you can see here I'm charging right now. It says I've got about 40 minutes left, and it's kind of why I was like, oh, let's just do a video right here. And what's really cool is you can navigate where you're going. And one of the things is, if you're going to one of these supercharging stations like I'm at right now, if you're going to come to one of these supercharging stations, you're going to want to put that in your navigation, because what it's going to do is it's going to actually prep your battery. It'll heat your battery up and get it optimal for charging performance, so that way you're not spending too much time here. The other thing that I will mention is that when you're charging, and if you're going on a road trip somewhere, what you're going to want to do is sort of pay attention to what the directions that they're going to give you. So they'll actually tell you some directions on like right how much charge you have left between, because you could actually end up spending way too much time on the road doing this. So yeah, you could actually end up spending way too much time on the road itself. And the charging station right here, you can see it says 40 minutes to charge. This is 104 miles an hour, so it's going to be a little bit less than half of that, or a little bit more than half of that. But what would happen is, if you're on the road, there is a network of these chargers, and no one ever told me this. I had to figure this out even after doing my own research, is that it will tell you about how far you can get to the next charge. So what happens is the charge goes really fast. So I'm going to put the screen. So what will happen is the charge will go really fast, and you can see right here it says 30 kilowatts, and this is a 85D, which basically means that it's a dual motor with 85 kilowatts of total power that you can power this thing up with. And so you can see it's down to 30 now kilowatts, and so that's going to fluctuate. Typically what happens is it goes really fast at first, and then it slows down. So when it slows down, it's going into like a trickle charge, and the last part of that battery takes a lot longer to charge. So knowing that, you only need to take advantage of, say, like 30 minutes, and the system will actually tell you that you can keep charging if you want, but basically the system's going to tell you that you're charged enough to get to the next location, and you'll be able to charge it a lot faster. Now, a lot of these charging stations are at about 150 kilowatts per hour. That's the speed that they can charge at, and that's pretty fast. But I still have yet to see, in my car anyway, over 100. So it's your system is going to manage itself, and it's going to be managing itself best for battery degradation, because then you're going to have to replace your batteries sooner. So you kind of let the system manage all that stuff on its own. There's also some charging stations that do 250 kilowatts per hour, and I'm sure the new batteries that have come out and new technology, it's probably really fast. But that's one of the things that you want to keep in mind, is how long is it going to take to get my car charged, especially if I'm driving long distance on the road. Okay. Some of the other things that I will point out about this is that you're going to want to charge at home And when you park your car in your garage, you're going to want to charge that then. So that way when you get out of here, you drive away. If you're doing daily driving around the town, it works great. You can forget about going to the gas pump because there's no need to. And gas pumps are expensive, right? These are a lot cheaper. I do want to mention that some years, including the year that I owned, comes with unlimited supercharging. It's within reason, so it's usually only when you're going out of town. But that's great because now I can drive from, say, like Reno, which is Nevada, all the way to Las Vegas, which is about an 8-hour drive. And on gas, it's going to usually cost me about $60 just to make that trip. But now I'm out of pocket $0 for that trip. And so that's some things I want to talk to you a little bit more about in this video as well, is that what are the perks and how does it financially really make sense to own a Tesla? And like I said, I'll even talk about some of the things that are the things I don't like about it as well. Okay, so I'm going to try to give you a good pros and cons to everything. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to show you some of the things, cool things you can do in the dashboard. I'm going to talk a little bit about driving and stuff like that. When you're driving it, some cool things that you can do, some really neat features. And so I'm going to turn the camera around again so you can see that. Okay, so let's just get into here. So nice big area to work with. It's like this car is honestly like driving an iPhone around town. It's like a smart device more than it's a car. Even though it is a car, it literally is a smart device. So you basically have access to a lot of different musical options. They do have the Spotify connection. So if you've got a Spotify account, it's actually going to allow you to connect to your Spotify account. And then you can basically go to your home and then you can find like all of your music and all of your podcast and everything that you really enjoy at your fingertips, which is really, really neat. Okay. Down here, you can see you've got radio, phone. So if I want to connect my phone directly, I can. If I want to do streaming directly, I can do that as well. And I could do TuneIn, which is another sort of like streaming for audio and stuff like that. Okay, and you got radio as well, so if you want to do AM FM stuff, you've got it right there as well. You can do all your searching from here. You can change your settings and stuff like that from there. It's very simple. One thing that you're going to see here is when you press this button up, it's going to give you some options of things that you can do. And you can also, like I said, you can go back to charging. I can see where I'm at on charging. I can see what my energy, like how much energy that it took to get on this trip from where I was coming from. I can look at my calendar, which is neat. It'll sync up with my calendar on my phone. I can make phone calls from here directly instead of pulling my phone out. Literally, I could just put my phone away and not even have to deal with it, okay? Now, some other really cool things is I can do some web searches right here, and every Tesla actually has, I don't know why it's not working, but every Tesla has the ability to have internet. And you could see right up there, it says LTE. This car came with premium LTE service where I can stream the internet, I can get all my music and everything. It's all included. And then this particular year, and not only did this car come with unlimited supercharging, but it also came with premium LTE. Even though there's only one bar at where I'm at right now in Roseville, it came with LTE, which is really cool because now I don't have to pay for that service. This is a service that you would pay for on most Teslas. So it's another really cool perk for me to go, do I want a 2016 or should I just get a 2015 that comes with free unlimited supercharging? It comes with the LTE as well. So kind of cool. You can just search on the internet right here. Of course, the internet is a little bit slow right here where I'm at, but really, really neat feature. If I'm on the road, I want to look something up, I can just do it right here from the dashboard itself. Okay. The other cool thing is entertainment. So I can go to entertainment, and this is the older model, so it doesn't have all the newest, coolest games. There was a recall on this unit that they're going to be replacing it. It's like an 8 megabit system, which is really, that's not that good. That's like Atari to me. Okay, that was Atari even. So they're going to replace it with like a 32 megabit system, which is kind of cool. And I'm hoping, and who knows, fingers crossed, that it will come with some of the newer games. However, if you're stuck somewhere charging your car and you've got nothing or you're waiting for someone, you can play all these games. You can play backgammon, chess. This game is really fun, 2048. You can play these really old school games like Asteroids, and it actually uses your steering wheel to play these other games while you're playing it. So really fun for the user experience, really, really fun. The other thing I'll point out here is this little thing called Toy Box, and this again just makes it fun to drive. You've got this little fart thing. I can make it It has like different farting sounds when you click it. And you also have fart on demand, so you can press the scroll wheels and make it fart. And you can also make your turn signals fart. You can make it, there's all these different fart sounds that you could use. And it's just fun, okay? It's just fun. They've got romantic, it makes a campfire thing. They got a sketch pad. So I could come on here and I literally could do like a thing where I'm teaching people like, hey, here's a funnel going into this upsell, and then from that upsell there's a downsell. I could just do that, and then we send emails to all of these people, and then we send messenger bots to these people, right? I could literally do like a little training if I wanted to from here, which is kind of neat, kind of fun to do. And then just to kind of go back to the box here, they've got Mars, they've got Santa, they've got Rainbow Road, which is fun because it does the cowbell thing. If you're familiar with the Saturday night skit about I need more cowbell, it does that. It's kind of funny. And then the submarine, this was a car that Elon Musk bought at an auction, which was a 007 car. And so anyway, he did this thing on here where it works with the suspension and everything. It's kind of fun. It's not that big of a deal, but kind of fun. On this side here, you can see your car details as well. And this is neat. You can change all your brightness, you can unlock, you can do all kinds of stuff. But what's really neat is this suspension. And I can actually change my suspension to very high. So if I'm in an area that I know I need higher suspension, I can click that button right there and I can do the same. I can kind of do the same thing, which is pretty cool. And yeah, I can just make sure I don't scrape the bottom or anything like that. And then it's got like all of your other normal stuff, updates, software updates, display, vehicle information, autopilot. Okay, that's the next thing I want to talk to you guys about is the autopilot. So my system came with autopilot, and basically there's a little button right here that you click. You'll click this back, or not that one, it's this one right here. You'll click this one back 2 times and it'll actually go into an autopilot mode, but you do have to keep your hands on the steering wheel. And really, to me, because it's not the full autonomous version, which I'm pretty excited about, I've really thought about how great it would be to not have to drive and just turn it on and let it drive you there on the normal streets. But what I think of this is like not an autopilot, but the thing that keeps at a certain speed control or whatever. It's like that, but better because it steers while you're on the highway, and you can control things like turning left, turning right, and stuff like that just by changing your turn signal over here. So really, really cool stuff. The other thing that's really cool is that like when you're driving and you have got something inside of your navigation area, so if I wanted to just navigate somewhere, let's see, it keeps track of all these places that you've gone to recently as well, which is kind of neat. The grounds. Okay, so this is where we were going. So see right here, it just popped up my GPS right there, and the GPS is now going to tell me exactly where to drive inside the dash, and it kind of shows me like how to get there from here as well. So really, really neat feature that's in there as well. Now another cool thing is this is the glove box button, and it opens my glove box when you press it. But also, if I'm on the road or I'm traveling or something like that, I can make this password protected, which is another really, really neat feature with the car itself. And so yeah, if I want to hold valuables or something in there or whatever, I can basically make it password protected. I can make the car password protected as well. So if I want to park it in some sketchy place, which I don't know why anybody would ever want to steal a Tesla. I mean, it's connected to the friggin' internet and it's got GPS built into it. So if someone ever wanted to steal your Tesla, they're going to get caught super, super fast. As soon as you report it, they're going to be caught. So it wouldn't be a good one. And the other thing is, like, my wife and myself have the app on our phone. So if she takes the car or I take the car, she knows exactly where I'm at. She'll even call me and say, hey, you're at this location driving 55 miles per hour. Am I right? Yep, you are. She's like, that's so funny. I can see it on the app itself right now. So really cool feature with the app is that exactly where your car is at all times. Another really neat feature is, let's see, it's right here. It's called summons mode. I don't have it going, but the summon beta is neat because what it will do is it'll connect to your car garage, your garage door opener, and it'll allow you to get your car ready It'll open up the garage door. The car will pull out into the driveway exactly where you want it to pull out to. So you could come out to your car and it's ready for you to jump in and take off, which is another really neat feature when it comes to driving the Tesla as well. I also want to mention you've got like all of your directions here, so you can push the button to go into drive. You can go up for reverse, or down for drive I should say, and then push the button for park. So I messed that up. Button for park, down for drive, and reverse up. The neat thing about this is like you have no console here. You don't need any console. You don't need a drivetrain, which usually would fall back right there. So people that are sitting in the back seat, they don't have that big hump in the middle of the ground, and it's just this open space. You don't have anything that you need right here because it's completely electric, again, which is really cool. And yeah, so you just have it all right here, and it's very conveniently located when it comes to driving your car. The other neat thing is like you have the frunk. This is called a frunk. I can open this up. It's the front of the car, and that'll open right up, no problem. I can open up the back of the hatchback, which is really cool. And this particular car, I also got the sunroof, which is it's an upgrade that not a lot of these cars have. So it's kind of a really cool perk to owning this particular one that I got. Okay, so those are pretty much all the really cool benefits that I can think of during this. I'm sure there might be something else I might be missing. Oh yeah, there is one other thing I wanted to mention. They also have this thing called auto high beams. You can't really see it right here, but basically if you're driving at night, it'll automatically turn your high beams on, and then when another light comes driving up close to it from the other side of the highway or a car passes you, it automatically turns it off, and then when it's available to turn back on, it turns it right back on. Okay, so that's a really cool feature. The other thing I want to mention is that when you're driving it itself, let me see if I go to driving here. See, they have regenerative braking. And what this is really neat, because what this does is it allows me to not necessarily use my brake. I'll let off the gas pedal, and when I let off the gas pedal, it will start regenerating electricity to charge back into the battery system. It'll save on my braking system itself, and it'll brake, so I don't have to use the brake much when you learn how to use this. I do standard instead of low. I'm going to do standard mode just because I want to use it as much as I can. I don't want to do creep or anything like this, slowly move the brake pedal and release. A lot of people that drive gas cars are used to letting go of the brake and it creeps forward. So I'm not really worried about using this. If I'm going to go on a long trip, I might turn this range mode on, which will give me like more boost on my charge, and it'll also save on utilizing some other things like heating and air conditioning and stuff like that. Okay, so it's just going to save if I know I'm going to really need it, but you don't really need to mess with that stuff. Okay, so yeah, let me just turn this around. So yeah, those are the really neat features, the fun features about owning a Tesla. And I also, like I said, I want to make sure to review some of the things that aren't that cool. Okay, so and if I think of some other things that kind of come to mind about owning a Tesla that is cool, I will remember to say it here. But if not, maybe we'll make another video at some point. Okay, but I think we pretty much covered most bases when it comes to those things. So let's kind of get into some of the things that probably are some things you want to think about before owning one. Okay, one of them is you do get the feeling that you might run out of juice sometimes, and so it is kind of a nerve-wracking thing, especially if you're on the road going a long ways. I've never experienced running out of energy, by the way. I've never even seen mine go down past 30% or 20% maybe. Maybe I've gotten it down to 18% now that I'm thinking about it. But I never felt like, oh, I can't get to another place to charge my car in that type of situation. So that's one thing. The second thing is the time that it does take to charge your car. This is probably the biggest bitch that I have about the whole thing, is that I come to this place and it says I've got an hour to sit here if I want to charge my car completely. Luckily, I have the time to do it, so it's not that big of a deal for me. Plus, I'm now making this video so you guys can watch about it. But yeah, that's one of the big things that's kind of a bit frustrating. So if you're going for a long trip, that you want to prepare yourself for adding a little extra time, especially if you're going to have some time constraints. But like I said earlier in the video, you don't have to fully charge it. You just pay attention to what the system says, how far you're going to get. It kind of guesstimates about where you're going to be at the charge when you come in. And so that would be the one thing that to do when you're going far, is not necessarily charge it all the way up. Just charge it when it's on its fast pace, and when it starts slowing down, see if it's going to make it to the next charge, at least 15 to 25%, and then go ahead and go to the next one. Now, there is a chance that if there's road work somewhere or something like that, you might want to go to your energy mode and turn that on, so that way your car knows it's going to need to conserve as much as it can to get to that next spot. But again, I've never experienced that. But some of the things I've heard is too that some of the charging points aren't necessarily off of the highway. So I haven't experienced this yet either. Luckily, every time I've taken a long trip, they've been literally there. And I'm on the West Coast. I would imagine that they've got a huge network and it's continuing to grow. And even in some instances, you may not have to use a Tesla charging area, but you can find some that are connected to some of the hotels, some of the parking lots, and different parks and stuff like that have them. And we're going to continue to see more and more of these roll out anyway. So I don't think this is going to be a huge issue going into the future. I think just some of the early adopters had the biggest issue when it came to that. Okay. So that's that. I also want to mention the car is very roomy. It has a lot of room, a lot of good seating. I mean, it's like a regular sedan, full-size sedan, it feels like. But I will say the front area is very low because this is a very sporty, it's a sports car. And I'm not even that tall of a person, and I don't have my seat all the way jacked up either. But I would say that the sizing here could be an issue for some people. You'd want to make sure to check it out if you're a very tall person. But getting in and out of the car, it's very low right here, okay? Even going to an ATM machine, it's hard for me to touch everything on the ATM machine if I'm in a drive-through ATM machine. But again, it's the kind of the small little price you pay to have a cool car. The car is fast, it's fun. It's not the one with ludicrous, but it still does 0 to 60 in 4.4 or 4.2 seconds, one of those. Still fast enough. It's all-wheel drive. I've got the dual motor. I would say I don't think I would ever want to do a two-wheel drive one. So anything below the 85D, I probably wouldn't want to invest money into. And so, yeah, these are my main cons about the car. But they're not that bad. They're very manageable, except for the time that it takes. But again, I'm trading that for the cost of gas in a lot of situations, okay? And if I can get it into a garage where I can park it and charge it overnight while I'm at somewhere, or if I'm doing it while I'm shopping somewhere, or I'm going to a mall, like I'm at a mall parking lot, I could go in the mall. I actually went and picked up some juice. So while I was here, I made a walk and got some juice. But again, that's like me just making things up, doing something with my time. I could pull out my computer and do some work, stuff like that. There's definitely some things you could trade. Where if I was at the gas station, you're like 5 minutes, 10 minutes max, and you're out with a full tank of gas, but you're also forking out the money for it. So that's my main issues. Now, the last thing I want to talk to you guys about is financially, where does it financially make sense to own a Tesla? And if you're in the market to buy a car, go get a Tesla, first of all, because it's going to make a huge financial decision for you. I can tell you that, who knows with gas prices, but in America, gas prices are always lower than the rest of the world. Places like Japan, England, you're going to be paying about triple to quadruple the price you're paying in America. Just remember that. And it's all tied to the dollar that's connected to petro, okay? And we're living in a time where this could change. It's probably already changing behind the scenes. And we've got cryptocurrency and stuff that can regulate things differently. I mean, we're living in a changing time for sure. They're saying that the next 10 years is going to be more change than the last 100 years, which has been the most technological advancement of humankind ever. And so think about that. I'm going to bet that resources start to go lower, the price and the demand go up, continue to go up. And even as demand goes down for gas, the prices will also go up as well. So I'm betting, and I'm pretty sure I could bet this, I'm 80 to 90% sure that gas prices are going to continue to go up and skyrocket, and governments are going to have to get new ways to tax people that they're going to lose on that as people change over to electric and as the grids get bigger. So I'm betting on the fact of the cost of gas and what it would cost me. Okay, my last car was an X5. I spent about $200 per month on gas. Okay, $200 per month on gas. So I think I would rather take that $200 and put it on a payment for a car. Okay, my payment on this car is right around $500 a month, but if I'm used to paying $200 plus per month in gas, I'm now only paying $300 a month for the car on a monthly cost itself. Okay, so that's one huge financial reason to get this car. And if you do any traveling, you might spend even more. I mean, my X5 got anywhere from like 16 to 19 miles per gallon. I do realize that some cars are less and a lot of cars are more. It just depends on what you're buying. The other things, and these are really big reasons that make financial sense on why you should get a Tesla. If anything, if you have to talk your husband or your wife into it, let them watch this last part, because they're going to say, that's some good valid points. Okay, one is there's no engine in this car. There is no engine in this car. So when you're talking about a gas motor, when you're talking about gas engine, you are talking about a lot of things that can go wrong. Okay, and not only that, but you're going to have the cost of maintaining that engine. You're going to have to do oil changes on a regular basis. You're going to have to fix things as they break. When my X5 would break like every, I want to say 5 to 6 months, and then the bill at the mechanic was easily $1,500 every single time. And some of the things were just it's just like, oh my God, like I had to pay that much just to fix a light, stuff like that. So the expense on those things add up. So let's just say it's an extra $2,000 to $3,000 a year just to keep your car maintained. And so you have those expenses as well, which again could be another $150 to $200 a month. So now we're looking at about $400, $350 to $400 every single month that you would normally be used to paying by running a gas engine versus running an electric car. And so now my $500 a month payment is now about $150 to $100, which makes, again, huge financial decisions for that. Not only that, those are the two really main ones, but there are some smaller things like wear and tear on your tires. I haven't put that many miles on this car just yet, but I heard that they do run through tires a bit faster. Again, that's going to depend on how you drive it. These cars are fast. They take off super fast, so you're going to be talking about burning tire tread if you have this kind of car. And also, by the way, if you like this content and you made it this far, by all means, please make sure to hit the notification bell, follow my channel. I give all kinds of tips and tricks and hacks and studies, case studies on marketing. This is what I've been doing since 2007 is marketing, online marketing. I'm a SaaS entrepreneur and stuff like that. So make sure if you like this content so far, just like us, share the content even, and make sure you do give us a follow and hit that notification bell so that way you get notified when I do these. Anyway, to get back into it, just some of the other things that kind of pop up on expense wise is that you might also get depending on what state you live in, you might actually get a tax credit as well for owning these cars. I haven't figured that part out yet, so I don't know what that is, but I've heard of a $5,000 credit, $2,500 to $5,000 credit. So again, that's going to save you even more money when you get the car itself. There are some things that with this model that can happen. The door handles can break when they go in and out. There's a little gear thing in there that breaks, and when that breaks, it's about $300 to fix, but they will come out to your home and they will do it as soon as their parts get ordered. That's a little bit weird and wonky the way that they do it. I guess that's another bitch that I have is You don't call them on the phone, you deal with them on a messaging service on the app itself. But the app is really cool because you can summons your car, you can have the air conditioning and heating turned on so your car's warmed up or cooled down and ready to rock when you get into the car. You can turn charging on, you can up how much charging you want to charge if you're getting ready for a trip and stuff without going to the car and doing it. So again, there's like a few things that kind of are cool about it, some things that are not as cool when it comes to dealing with support with them. You can't call anybody, which is really strange. I mean, you can. They do have a roadside service that comes with the car. So the roadside service I've called before, and you actually can talk to a live person that seems to know what they're talking about when it comes to these cars. And so those are, again, some of the things that I don't like, is that how you have to kind of deal with that. And yeah, I think that's really a wrap, guys. There was something else that I wanted to say if I get a chance. Let me just stop the video. I'll pop on again. Okay, so I remembered what I was going to say. So the other last thing I want to mention is that most of these cars come with a 100,000 mile battery warranty. Okay, 100,000 miles on the warranty on the battery. That is pretty phenomenal. Most of these cars come with an 8-year warranty as well on the car itself. So mine, I think it's just running out, but the thing is that the battery will still be here until it hits 100,000 miles. And the neat thing about this is that if it has more than, I think, 30% degradation, they'll actually replace the whole battery pack itself. Now, because these cars are still very new, what I've heard is that, and this is like the scientist of the company talking, and even Elon Musk has said this, is that the car could go up to, they believe, 300 to 500,000 miles before needing a replacement of the battery pack itself. Battery packs, I'm not 100% sure of what they cost, but they're anywhere from $7,000 to $20,000 to replace. But think about that. Like, you're looking at up to 500,000 miles. Like, most motors have to be rebuilt at 100,000 to 200,000 miles, or they need to have a timing chain replaced and have other issues and stuff like that literally could leave you stranded. This is smart enough and intuitive enough to know if you've got too much degradation going on your battery. So to me, that's a huge selling point to one of these cars. I've always heard people, oh, it's the batteries and blah 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 blah. They don't even know yet how far these batteries go. There's already been cars that have hit 300,000 miles, and they're still showing tons of life left in the battery themselves. So even if you get one of these cars that are a little bit higher on the mileage, I wouldn't let that deter you from getting the car, especially if you can get the higher mileage car for a lower price. It might make a ton of sense to do something like that. And so that was kind of the last thing I wanted to leave you guys with, is that understanding. Now, again, I'm not a scientist. I just did my own research. I'm sharing with you guys the research that I did. These were things that I wish somebody would have told me before I bought the car, but these things actually made the car even better. I also had a little bit of insight. I have a family member who works for Tesla. I didn't get a deal or anything like that. They don't even give deals, which is kind of crazy to their employees, but they do get to drive these cars. And so I got to basically like test drive a car, and was instantly sold. So if you get a chance, go test drive Tesla. Just go to someone selling one and go give it a test ride. They will sell themselves. The way that they drive is not like anything else I've ever driven, and it's the smartest car you will ever own. I will guarantee you that. And you can find a used one for a good deal. You can find like the Model 3 if you wanted. Those are great. You can get a newer model for less. This is an S, but you can get a newer model for about, I would say, like a third of the price of one of these ones, and they're just as great. They're just as nice of a car. Okay, or you can get an S. Try to find one with a little bit more miles on it, and you can get a screaming deal on it. I would say deal with a private party. You might save yourself on taxes on when you go to register your car. Not 100% sure on that, so don't quote me on it, but if it works, that's what you want to do. But just take it for a test drive, look at the tires, look at the brakes, and that's about all you really need to do. All right, so that's what I got. Again, if you like this video and you think this was awesome content, you want me to do another one on my Tesla, I would love to. Again, I can't rave enough about how much I love this car, and will be probably a lifetime Tesla owner because of it. So Make sure you like the content, share it if you think it would help other people. Hit the notification bell so that way you get notified. It also encourages me to do more of these videos, and make sure you follow along. All right, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and leave you with that. You have a great day, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care.